What's good, YouTube? It's Dark Fan here, and I'm bringing you my top 8 lessons that I've learned being in the hobby basically roughly 8 to 9 months now. I started back in late February. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So really quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and one by one and kind of go through what actual lessons I've learned or actual observations that I've seen from the actual community and just being a sports card investor slash collector. So there's no actual order with what I'm actually gonna go ahead and talk about right now. Here, the first thing that I've noticed just from making observations from being on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, all the other marketplaces, eBay, I just feel that there's no actual need to partake in actual breaks, razzes or group breaks, whatever you wanna call them. It's just another way of gambling your money away. I think the best advice I can provide somebody coming into the hobby is just buy the actual card you're looking for instead of actually hoping to get that card. I know it is a gamble, and hopefully there is actually another payoff. It kind of actually works out if you do like National Treasures breaks, because those are actually kind of like high end, and there's obviously one-of-ones or other good stuff. But if it's just normal retail breaks like hobby boxes from a general set, I would highly recommend staying away from that. It just sucks, you know, to gamble away your money. It's just not good at all. The other actual reason here that I'm go ahead and go down the list, don't buy hobby boxes or actual cases. Just going off of the other one with don't buy into breaks. It's the same thing. It's another way of gambling. I mean, I understand it is fun ripping wax, ripping actual boxes. Don't get me wrong, it's kind of part of the community, part of the hobby as well. But I think if you do it so frequently and then obviously you realize you're not getting your money back, because that's what it comes down to, getting your money back, then obviously you have to make an observation that it's not worth it. So, you know, you'll understand once you kind of partake in that actual aspect of the hobby. Hobby boxes, go ahead and proceed with caution on that. Next down the list is if you're going to actual like conventions or actual sports cards, marketplaces, your local hobby store, anything like that, always ask if this is the best price you can provide me with. More than likely, it's not the best price. There's always going to be some wiggle room to actually give you a better discount or a better offer. And then obviously, if you have trades on top of that, you can go ahead and ask them if you take trades on top of cash. They're more than willing to work with you, vendors. But that's basically it on that one. The next on the list here is if you're actually making a deal, going back to like going to an actual like convention or marketplace or just your local hobby shop, if you're trading with people, dealing with people, it's basically deals. Just remember, you always have the power to walk away from a deal if it doesn't really benefit you over in the long term or the short term, whatever you want to call it. Same thing, I mean, if it doesn't work out for both parties, more than likely you guys can walk away. Don't feel obligated to like neg on something or actually try to rip somebody off. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. So just remember, you have the power to walk away, and more than likely you made an actual relationship with that person where you're gonna come back and ask for another card, or if you have that card down the road. Going down the list here, buy what you like and not what others tell you to actually like. You know, right now in the power of YouTube and social media, there's a lot of actual influencers telling you to buy like F1 Formula cards, buy wrestling cards, buy MetaZoo, it's the next best thing. You know, there's always hype on a new product, a new type of thing that always causes buzzes with the community. So take precaution on that, do your homework, see if there's actually market for that. If you're interested, obviously go for it. But if you're just doing it because somebody else is telling to you, just think about it twice. Going down the list here, PSA slabs are always going to be king, unfortunately. They just actually have been out years and years. They've saturated the market. They provided the highest possible value for the community. People agree that it's the slab to have. It's basically the best way to make your money liquid quickly, to flip a slab. Other than that, other actual like, I don't know, HGA, BGS, SGC, they're still going to be competitive to a certain extent, but there's always going to be that second guess from an actual, you know, a buyer perspective, like, why am I buying this when I can buy a PSA slab? So that's one of the biggest observations that I've actually seen just being in the actual hobby this long at this point. And one of the other kind of like honorable mentions here is going back to like going to actual in-people type of conventions or marketplaces. Don't feel free to actually lowball people. I understand people kind of get offended at that, you know, at different places, but go ahead and do so. I mean, they're more than likely going to tell you, you know what, this is the price I'm looking for. Don't be afraid, you know, to say like a hard no. I personally done that. I started with a really low ball. I'll offer like less than 50% of the actual card. And they're more than likely to work with you. I mean, if you're buying in bulk or buying a lot, they'll give you that 50%, and if not, they'll give you a better discount. So feel free to actually do that as well. Just be confident in the way you actually ask for things. If you say kind of negatively in a negative tone, then obviously you're not gonna have a good time in actually creating a deal with that person. And then lastly, another honorable mention here is well, I think this is kind of like the biggest thing. Always be courteous to everybody, especially going to events or shows or conventions or marketplaces. Always ask to look at these cards. Hey, can I take a look at this? Can I scan the pop report on the PSA app? Can I do this? You know, I mean, that always goes a long way with people, just being courteous and asking to do things. More than likely, people don't really care depending on the vendor or the dealer, but it's just better to be safe than sorry, you know. Other than that, guys, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, obviously November, December, basically winter time, there's always gonna be mental health awareness going on, and it's obviously a big thing with everybody, and I feel it should be a big thing with actual sports cards investors as well, because we actually put in a lot of money into this type of hobby. So there are a couple links down below, a couple resources you guys can actually look at. Other than that, stay safe, text your buddy, you know, check in on every now and then. That actually goes a long way. And until next time.